So, guys, it's David here, and it is day 367. I hope you guys are doing well and are doing better than yesterday. But I have to say that today I am very, very excited because I started to make my app, I started to complete my project, and most importantly, I have just finally got a grasp on my own life and am starting to make the right choices, right? This is a very exciting feeling because instantly I feel wonderfully well, right? Instantly I feel animated and as if my eyes are finally clear for once. And I used to thought that I have lost passion for my purpose. But in reality, I have just forgotten what it feels like to have that fight within you, to have that drive to create, to achieve, to conquer. I just forgot what it feels like to be like that, right? And obviously, I can't remind myself of that feeling by just sitting around all day and do nothing, right? You can't. There's no feeling of conquering or fight or enthusiasm by just sitting around and watch TV, right? Like, what are you gonna conquer, right? Conquer laziness? You're already lazy, and I was lazy, but there was no positive emotions that I could feel from watching TV, right? That is just like a distraction. You can't really get something out of that. But the moment I went in to do something I'm uncertain with, the moment I said to myself, David, look, you don't know how to do this shit, right? You don't know how to make an app. You have no idea how to do this, and also you have not coded for 2 months now, so you're pretty much lost. So how are you gonna think that you can overcome this, right? And I had to overcome this demon within me. I had to overcome this inner chatter and say, look, I am not the best, right? I am incompetent. I don't have the skills and I have no idea what I'm doing. But if I don't do something, I'll never know. I never will know how to do this thing. I never will know how far I can go and I never will touch my potential. And by diving head in today to create this project, to start the beginning of a project, to just pick up and reopen my code editor, right? This act alone triumphed over days and weeks of positive affirmation and positive self-talk can do. Because you can sweet talk your ass to motivation, to success, whatever it is you wanna achieve by positive self-talk. But if your actions are not aligned with your words, then your body ain't gonna be fooled by your bullshit, right? That's the bottom line. If you're not doing something in line with what you're saying, then all you are doing essentially is making these false promises, right? Saying that you're consistent, saying that you're successful, saying that you're disciplined, but yet you don't do anything that represents discipline, consistency, or perseverance, then you're only diminishing yourself in your own eyes. You're only lowering your self-esteem. And that is like a infinite loop of just, messing with yourself, right? Just fucking yourself over and over again, right? You're legit just fisting yourself. That's pretty much what it is, guys. If you're making these promises you can't keep and you're making them over and over again, thinking that that is going to be the key to motivate you to break your procrastination. And I have done that, and I could say that although positive self-talk can make you feel good, right? It does make you feel good, right? Who doesn't like to flatter themselves? But when you don't follow up with your words, you really put yourself in this tough position, right? You really just beat yourself down more, and that is really unpleasant, right? It's a very derogatory thing to do to yourself. This is a very shameful thing to do to yourself, and your body don't respond to that shit well, guys, because over time you are going to condition yourself and say, look, I am a liar, I am totally untrustworthy, and my word has no honor, right? I'll just like say that, you know, I will say that I am this and that, and I'll never do the things. And over time, whatever you say has no value. Whatever you say has no weight. And that becomes, then your word is pointless, right? Not to others, but to yourself, right? How low do you have to get to not even believe in your own word, right? That is pretty low. And you can see how that becomes pretty sad over time. But I could say that all the positive self-talk has not yet worked 1 ounce as effective as just acting alone, as just doing something. Because by doing something today, it is as if all the change has just disappeared, right? I have become free. I became free. I feel like as if I have found myself again, right? And that may sound cheesy, but that is exactly what it feels like. That is actually, and matter of fact, like I feel like as if it has not been 2 months of me just squandering my time away. Right? The moment I acted, it is as if I tapped into this memory, right, of my past self, where I was this person, right, where I was this person as an identity, where I was this person who had this big ambition and big dreams, and this someone who acted consistently daily to achieve his vision. By acting today, it is as if I refired this neural network, right? This pathway into my old memories, that it reminded me of who I was, and that today it feels like I'm still that person because I choose to do something different. In other words, it is as if I tapped into my other self in this multiverse, right? In this infinite universe where I was this person before, and it is as if I embodied myself again, right? And I feel wonderful, guys. It is as if I have those traits I used to have when I was consistent, when I was disciplined, when I was locked in, etc. And I guess this just also shows that your action will dictate how your fate goes. Your actions will change your destiny. And by putting a very hard stop into my self sabotage today, and choosing to do something different with my life, by making that forced change in my actions today, despite how reluctant I was feeling towards that change, I still made that change. But when I made that change, it is as if my whole body and soul followed along with that change. So no longer was I sad or guilty or ashamed, because I am doing something different with my life. And by then, my actions has aroused different emotions, right? Emotions I have felt before, emotions I was familiar with because I had done the hard work before. So by changing course in my life, it reminded me of who I can become. It reminded me of how good it feels like to work towards your dreams, to work towards your passion. And that feeling is unforgettable, guys, because when you realize and feel that flame within you, and when you act upon that flame, you can never forget about what it feels like to have that burning enthusiasm to just conquer yourself and to share love to the world. You cannot forget that feeling, guys. And that feeling is so much stronger than any negative emotions that you may be addicted to, right? That feeling will piss your fears, will piss your doubt. Because honestly, guys, when you are feeling great in life, you no longer care so much about what it feels like to lose. You just want to win. And I guess up to this point, what I really want to do is to just keep my head down and do what I said and what I know I can accomplish. Because the moment I lose track, the moment I start to regress in my performance and go back into making those same choices that are linked with negative emotions, then I'm going to redirect my body back into this person who's guilty, who's a victim of his own choices, right? And that is not who I want to become. But we have to understand that our choices and who we become at the end of the day is separated by a very fine line of our wit. And it can really be just as easy to ruin your whole life because you choose to make a decision based on fatigue. Just because you came back home from work, or just because you came back from a very lousy day, and you choose to make that insignificant choice in the moment, that alone could change your life course and trajectory for however much long it needs for you to understand that that choice you made on that day has really messed up your life. And vice versa. It only takes that one little tweak to change your life into a path of greatness. But never underestimate the insignificant and trifling choices, is what I'm trying to say, and it is really the message I'm trying to get out for you guys today. Because although everything may go good in the moment, although everything may go fantastically well accordingly to your plan, and you feel like you deserve to have a break, you deserve to have a reward. And it is in that moment where you feel like you deserve something that life will throw you a challenge. And this challenge will determine if you are worthy to actually experience success or if it will pull you back into a complacent self. And it all is determined by one little choice. One little decision that may seem harmless on the surface, but really it is only a test to see if you are ready or not. So never be complacent, never lose guard, and always be vigilant. Don't switch off, because this is exactly the thing I should be doing. And if I take my own advice, then perhaps I will be there. But this is all it is, guys. It's a game of self reflection, it's a game of just reflecting and being aware, because the more aware you can be, the more conscious you can be when these tests are thrown your way and when these tests require you to make a swift and fast decision. But with that being said, I hope you guys have had an amazing day, and I do hope you guys had learned something from this. But if not, like always, I'll be here for you guys tomorrow. But until then,